Yes. Another great day, man. You already know this about to be an exclusive interview. Exclusive interview. I haven't actually talked to this brother in a little while, but whenever I do talk to him, it's very monumental, very epic. I got a lot of history with this guy. I've known him since since like 2016. It's almost 2023, so I've known him for a good while. Um, I definitely have a rapport with him. We definitely gonna get into all of that. We definitely had some stories that's gonna make you laugh. Some stories that's gonna make you think. And some stories that's probably gonna make you make shit a tick. You know what I'm saying? Like, in a matter of these years, this is how much he found out about me, how much I found out about him. So that's what's gonna make this interview like really so epic. Shouts out to DC, Maryland, and Virginia, PG County, Southeast side, all the sides, Northeast, Northwest. Shouts out to the Carolinas. Shouts out to Cali. Shouts out to New York, LA, Atlanta, Philly, and Baltimore. And everything in between. But yeah, man, let's get into it, man. You already know we got a lot to talk about.
What's good, my brother? What's good with you? This long overdue for real.
It is. And I'm glad that we actually doing it because a lot is going on and a lot has
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
Yeah, since I seen you in Southeast Maryland.
Yeah,
But
lot
yeah, man,
going on.
I see you have been doing something that a number of things that it is that you have been doing that you said that you was going to do. Uh and what that was is I remember when you and Easky, shouts out to Easky, um, y'all was pretty much telling me that y'all was about to start doing a lot more content.
Yeah,
And what's so crazy about it is I always end up seeing y'all out and about on my adventures throughout the city of me out there touching the people, and I end up seeing y'all out here getting content, y'all out here, promoting y'all brand, y'all out here passing out flyers, putting up posters, all I mean the whole shebang as far as like y'all marketing. But I remember when y'all was actually really starting to do a whole lot more content. So I have been seeing you interview a number of people. I've been seeing you like not just like rappers and things like that. I've been seeing you like interview all types of people, and that's what like kind of like really caught my attention. I think you was interviewing somebody who had like some type of food truck or something like that, or they had like some type of restaurant or something like that. You was just bringing recognition to their brand and a restaurant, which I thought was really really dope. That really explains a lot about you. Um, but I also seen you was interviewing um my man, Jet Light, Currency. I seen
currency.
that too.
Yeah. That's my
Currency.
man.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
seen that. Yeah, for me to see you talk about it, and like say that you was about to really start more doing it. How does it feel now that you actually really in the process of something that you said that you was going to do years ago, and you're really actually knee deep in it now?
To me, it's just humbling because it made me think about God. You know what I'm saying? Certain things I prayed for, and then you go through life, and then something happened, and you be like, "Damn, I remember I prayed for this."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it lets you know how he do what he do on his time. But it's almost like confirmation to it make you want to pray, but also be disciplined with the prayer. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
how it make me feel like, okay, he really is listening. You know what I'm saying? He really is listening. So what I got to do is not try to take shortcuts and really listen to what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? The discipline. We could do whatever for real. But a lot of people, Dame Dash use a word that's important. He always talk about you gotta have the stamina for this. You know what I mean? So praying for it, but then actually praying to have the stamina to go all the way through. Because some people want shit instantly.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and I learned now the great Nipsey Hussle, man. Respect the Nipsey Hussle, RIP to a legend. I
Yeah.
remember in
You
the
know I love that
song,
guy.
Nip say, "You're not gonna get it until you see it right." Things that I
Mm-hmm.
want that I don't see, it don't happen. It might be my
Mm-hmm.
lack of disbelief. It might be my lack of belief, or this, that, and the third. But anything I really believe in, I could see it and I pray for it. And then I might not even give it that much thought because, you know, we going through regular life and then it'll hit you like, damn, hold on. I prayed. I told people we gonna put the content out. Now
Yeah.
people, now it's funny you mentioned that. I've been getting a lot of DMs lately, specifically people complimenting our content. That's the word they use.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Breezy, shout out to Breezy Banks, one of the best female, not even female hip hop artists, just one of the best hip hop artists in the DMV. She just inboxed me the other day and she was just like, bro, I just really love your content. So when I
Yeah.
see that, it take me back to when those things was just a thought. Cause
Not to cut you off, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna gotta give him a shout out too, because he been really, really loving your content, Slim. And when I say this brother is from the streets, he from the streets just like me and you from the streets. But this brother really love your content. Ray Banger.
oh, that's my man. Yeah,
Ray Banger. Ray Banger
yeah,
really from the streets. He a real street nigga. I'm talking about how me and you would see each other in the streets.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Me and Ray Banger would really see each other in the streets. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
That's my
But
man. I
I
fuck
would
with
see
Ray.
him.
Ray
I
about to
would
come
see
to the
him.
studio. Ray about to
Okay.
come to
All
the
right.
studio on
All right.
Friday. I
Yeah.
can't even hold stuff off. I be so busy sometimes. Ray been asking me for it. And everything be coming full circle, bro, because one of the newest members on our label, shout out to Val Skip. He just had
Yeah.
he just had his baby yesterday, his daughter. Shout out to baby Corey. Um, he on the team, but he linked up to Ray Banger. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Everything coming full circle. I didn't even
Yeah.
know you know Ray Banger. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. I
So
know Ray Banger.
real
Yeah.
niggas
Yeah.
always stay connected for real, for real. But
Actually, I got some history with Ray Banger. Like, I met him through another street nigga. You know what I'm saying? I met him through another street guy. And pretty much what Slim was doing, he was, because Ray was in the streets at the time. Ray had just got he had just had, some shit had happened and shit. You know what I'm saying? So he was recovering. You know what I'm saying? So I guess in the process of him recovering, he was trying to do more of the music shit, and not be in the streets so much.
yeah.
So, when I met Ray, he explained this to me. You know what I'm saying? He explained it to me. So it made me really want to help him. You know what I'm saying? So his man was really getting him on the show because his man was trying to manage him at the time. So when he used to get with me and whatever case may be, I first ended up putting Ray on the jukebox. No, now this was really ironic though. I ended up putting Ray on the jukebox. When Ray came, man, he was just so appreciative. You know what I'm saying? He was just so thankful, like that I looked out for him and got him on the show, and he was able to get on stage and do his thing. And it was a very, very decent crowd. As you know, my shows used to be having a lot of good turnouts. So he was in a real good high spirit. That same night that he performed, he ended up meeting another guy named Ray Vegas. I don't know if you ever heard of him. Um, uh, I think he Mexican. You know what I'm saying? But Ray Vegas and Ray Banger end up linking with each other. And when I say they went everywhere. Man, next thing you know, I know they was in Texas. They was everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
It's the
And to
energy.
know that they had met like at my show,
Yeah.
like they never known each other. You know what I'm saying? But they met at my show, and wherever you sing Ray Banger, you sing Ray Vegas. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if like I'm sure that they probably still cool to this day. But for me to see Ray like going through what he was going through on the South Side and shit, then he linked up with this Mexican guy, and now they all over everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like really, really impressive to me. So when I seen him speaking on you, pretty much I was just like, wow, it's a small world, but it make a lot of sense because it just says a lot to me about what type of guy you is, what type of guy that he is, and of course what type of guy I am. You know what I'm
And what
saying?
type of guy you are. Yeah.
Yeah, so the connection was, I'm like, damn, like, yeah, I didn't know, but yeah, he really been loving your content.
Yeah, that's my
He been
man
sharing it
Ray,
a lot
man.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah, he been sharing it a lot. Shouts out to Ray.
I seen a vision, you know. I, Ray already support us. We support Ray, but I just believe in the near future, all of us for real gonna be moving really under the same banner one day, whatever that banner is. I
Yeah,
I, I just see it for real because That's the only way we gonna really survive in this water full of sharks, bro. The real niggas gotta band together. Like they thought we was extinct, but we really still out here for real. And what's gonna make us stronger is examples like what you saying, connecting the dots. A lot of these
Yeah,
fake people, they be
yeah,
selfish with the plug. You never
yeah,
been a
man,
person that's selfish with the plug.
man, tell me about it. You know what
You
I'm
know what I'm
saying? But
saying?
that's
And
what
that's gonna
that's why
work
you
out
always
for us.
see that's why you always see a guy who will have like his momentum, especially where we come from. And it don't have to be him rapping or whatever, but you will always see a guy up there with his momentum and nobody to pass it on to.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going on. You know, like people don't share information. With the ones who do share information, you see how they move with each other, you see how they look out for each other, you see how they respect each other. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But you got the ones who, you know, who withhold information. And I think Lauryn Hill said this one time in like a song. Like if you withholding information, you wasn't the one who was supposed to have it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Exactly.
wasn't the one who was supposed to have it. So like
Yo.
that's why me and you always share information. You might ask me something about it ain't got nothing to do with the music industry. Just maybe something in life. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And the same thing vice versa. But when you respect somebody's, outlook on life, they moves, they morals, they principles, integrity, all these different things, you know what I'm saying? You know, yeah, you can always learn from somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, we come from an era where, people kind of more offensive to that. Like,
Yeah.
nah, I ain't gonna tell them that. Or I
And
ain't gonna let
people
them know that.
they just
Like,
selfish. I
it's a
got a
lot of
song
selfishness.
called
Yeah.
Information is Powerful. You know what I'm saying? And I always think about because like you said though, like some people not supposed to have the information, so I get why Tupac on Never Had a Friend Like Me when Pac say we whisper when we conversate because people died over information. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But the ones we come across that we see drive, we see aim, like what you seen in Ray Banger, those the people we gotta choose to get information to. Unfortunately, we in a world where people so full of envy and hate,
Hey, I'm gonna
they'll
tell you another
withhold
story.
information just because they see you moving. Oh, he might
I'm gonna, I'm
not
gonna,
be.
I'm gonna tell you another story about Ray Banger. I'm gonna tell you another story about Ray Banger. It just showed me what type of guy that he is. He's a very genuine guy. So you know how hard it is to get me on a record. It's not easy to get me on a record. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have to like really sit down, talk to you, like really, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just that's just how I am, you know? Um, well, Ray Banger kept asking me for a verse. He was like, look, man, I want to get you on a verse. I want to get you on a track. So I was like, okay, bet. I was like, bet. Because I was just so proud of the moves he was making. Like, how could I tell this guy no? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I put him on a bunch of other shows too. And he always came with love, respect, and all that. And he always killed it. Well, I go to the studio out, I think the studio was off of St. Barnabas somewhere. He had took me out there. I forgot the name of the studio, but he was in there. Ray Banger, a couple of my guys from Southeast had came with me, and I went in there and he played the song, and I had ended up writing the verse right then and there, and I had laid the verse. Now Ray was really kind of in his feelings about this track because he couldn't get the record from the guy who recorded it and all that. So he wanted to get like a session or whatever, something like that. Like, but it wasn't working out to his favor. So some time went by, where I kind of like forgot about the record. You know what I'm saying? So one day I'm like freestyling like in the studio, and I end up saying something that I said in the song. And what it happened to be was like it wasn't the actual hook of the song, but it was like a part of the hook, which was a real big part of it. It was almost the hook, but I said it like in one of my raps. You know what I'm saying? My engineer had heard it, recorded the whole freestyle that I was doing. He chopped it up. Now this is on his own. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't ask him to do this. He did this while I wasn't there and all that. He chopped the record up, whatever. He was like, I did something to it, whatever. And I was like, what is that? He was like, I'm gonna send it to you. He sent me the record. When I had got the song, he had that part that I used, and Ray verse, he put it as the hook in the song.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't gonna lie, I was like, oh man, why you do that? Like, I really was just trying to show my man some, you know what I'm saying, some love by saying something he said in the song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this, I ain't gonna lie, it sounded so good, man. Actually, the name of this song is called God Bless. One of my biggest songs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I got a video for it and everything. You know, y'all go check it out. It's
Yeah, I
called
gotta
God
check
Bless.
that out.
But but what's the name? Uh um my man Boo Boo. I'm sure you heard of Boo Boo. Boo Boo, the producer.
I think I
He the
heard
one who
them.
he the one who did it. You know what I'm saying? So when he sent it to me, he was like, man, this shit's so motherfucking hard. He was like, man, don't change it. I was like, nah, like I gotta holler at my man because I'm saying something that comes from a song that I got from him. You know what I'm saying? That never came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I reached out to him. When I reached out to him, I just told him straight up what had happened. And I had let him know like I ain't put the song out, none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? He was like, man, send it to me. So I sent it to him. You know what I'm saying? And he approved it. He was just like, nah, man, like you killed that shit. Like, nah, go ahead and run with it. You know what I'm saying? He was like, pretty much what he was saying, he was like, the way that he was going with it wasn't the way that I went with it. So pretty much put it like this. Drake did started from the bottom, right? When he did started from the bottom, he heard Future say something in the story. He was like, yeah, started from the bottom. He ain't know what Future was talking about. What Future was talking about, like started from the very beginning of the record. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Drake heard that and ended up making a song out of it. It's kind of like similar way or
Same
whatever. You know
thing.
what I'm saying? So other than
Mm-hmm.
him getting mad, he really respected the fact that I came to him, let him know what had happened before I put the record out and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when I had put the record out, I always made sure I told this story. You know what I'm saying? I made sure I gave him his credit. You know what I'm saying? Because I did get that idea from him. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, and I
Yeah.
don't think the record that me and him had still ever even came out. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's another reason what made him, but he didn't get that Jag Money feature that he always wanted. So I got him.
Why
It's
why
another reason why I'm showing him love.
I
You know what I'm
wonder why
saying?
the engineer just ain't give him the like why he just ain't give him the record.
That's something we're gonna have to interview Ray Banger about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something we're gonna have to interview him about.
The
But
DMV Chronicles.
yeah, these are stories that people don't know. You know what I'm saying? While we at it, let's get into Saturday Night Live. I seen that clip that you tagged me in. This is a hell of a story because I mean the song is y'all can go check the song out. The song is on YouTube. It's on YouTube, but we got a couple different versions of it. So Saturday Night Live. Um, Now, story behind this. I'm gonna tell you how you end up even getting on the record. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to choose somebody to actually
Yeah.
get on this record. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's a banger too.
yes, sir. So you already know I was dealing with this breakup at this time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The infamous breakup that I was dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And it was affecting me musically. Business wise and all that. Like I'm human. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of doing that, but I was finding things that was like really helping me get through my little that I was dealing
Yeah.
with. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So what I did was, of course, I started, I fell into Fabio. I fell into, the player mode, full-time player mode. You know what I'm saying? So I felt as though like I wanted to start making music that fitted the lifestyle that it is that I was living at that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when I came up with that song, it was meant for my boys to be on it, the Cake Boys. Shouts out to the Cake Boys. Young I, shouts out to Young I. He brought that beat to me. When he brought it to me, it was like I want to say it was like a Friday morning, something like that. I haven't even really started my day. You know what I'm saying? And it was over there in Lando where you had came to.
Mm-hmm.
It was over there. So he came over there with the record. We up, smoking, and then he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm putting together this compilation. I want you to have." He was like, "You can either do this by yourself, or either you can do this with your crew." So I was like, "Man, let me do this right here." I was like, matter of fact, let me do both of them with the crew. So he was like, you sure? I was like, yeah. He was like, well, put a hook on this for me and a verse, and I'll get them on. That was Saturday Night Live. So when I was listening to it, I'm just humming, you know what I'm saying? And really what I had said really had happened. You know what I'm saying? I left my girlfriend on a Friday, you know what I'm saying? You know, talking Saturday nights with you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Smoking and sexing on a Sunday morning, talking about what I did that Saturday with you know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, like I need to make a song out of this. You know what I'm saying? So that's exactly what I had did. When I did it, my guys, man, young I loved it. You know what I'm saying? He loved it. Like, oh man, because all I had was the hook at first. So then um when my boys had heard the record, when they heard it, they ain't like it, right?
Dang.
Yeah, they ain't like it. They was like, nah, man, we want to go a whole nother way about it, whatever case may be. And I understand what they was on. I'm on some player shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm on my Playboy shit. I'm on, you know, I'm on this tip, you know what I'm saying? And they on some, you know, street hustler type shit, you know what I'm saying? But I got so much of that type of music, you know. So and that record just didn't sound like that to me, you
Yeah,
know.
the beat just sounded like Saturday Night Live.
Exactly, you know what I'm saying. So I was like, you know what, man, what I'm gonna do with this record? Because I had it for a little bit before I had Let You Hear, you know. So then I was like, man, I gotta get another player on here, somebody who I like, you know, like a smooth guy, you know what I'm saying, like a cool ass nigga. And I was like, man, bet I ain't got no records for Step. Let me get Step on here. You know what I'm saying? And it was a great idea. It was probably the
Yeah,
best idea that I had made. You know what I'm
that
saying?
shit was right on time, especially
Yeah.
at that time I wasn't really, because like you said, I record what my life is sometimes. And sometimes I could get sucked in. It was like you took me out of, I ain't gonna say my element because I could do that, but I wasn't really in that element at the time.
Not at that moment. Nah,
Yeah, not
nah,
at
not
that
at that
moment.
moment.
So it was
Yeah.
challenging. So me being the real artist that I am, I was like, you know what? At that time, um, I mean, we had a family trip to Miami. Miami,
Mm-hmm.
then we got on the cruise and went to the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, that was the best vacation, basically because it was family oriented. And my little cousin, everybody they look up to me and my family. My little cousin was there. She had a couple of her little buddies, and one of her little buddies was just bad. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
bad, but I'm respecting my little cousin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I ain't even going to engage, but
Mm-hmm.
the friend was attacking me. You know what I'm saying? The friend was attacking me. So I go to cuz. I say, little cuz, you already, she say, I already know. She already told me she gonna get you. Do y'all that? So I had a hell of a time in Miami. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I had a hell of a time in Miami
You had a
getting
hell of
that
a time
person.
describing it in the verse.
So I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send a little dot at her a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna send a little subliminal at her, but
Mm-hmm.
it go with the theme of
The
the
vibe of
record
the
and stuff
song.
like that. Yup.
Yeah.
So the person they know about the record, they laugh and giggle with it, you know what I'm saying? Because that time we had a great time. It was a memorable moment. And
And
sometimes
we
you
was
gotta,
younger. We was a little younger. We was a
yeah, a
little,
little
you know,
younger.
we wasn't that much younger, but we was younger.
And I was in position to. I was a single man, so I was enjoying the festivities. But
Mm-hmm.
it'd be little things like that as a great artist that you could just pull from anywhere and create. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
shout out to the great Nani baby for inspiring the verse on Saturday Night Live.
Shouts out to you.
You know what I'm
Shouts out
saying?
to you.
Thank
Straight
you
up.
for putting me on that record because I like that record, bro. Like
I love that record, man.
that's a smooth record.
When you had actually when you had made the when you made the clip the other day, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, I ain't calling to tell you this because I knew me and you was gonna end up talking. You know what I'm saying? We was gonna end up doing an interview, but I played that song for the rest of the day, man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? For the rest of the day, like that song just takes me somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It takes me somewhere. It also takes me back to kind of like what it is. You know, like manifesting something. Like I actually really captured like what I was doing, like at that moment, like for real, you know.
Yeah.
And who better to get on a record that a person who was actually catching me kind of in these modes.
Yeah,
Like
I
Friday,
always
you'll see me with a chick. You might see me twice on Friday. I might have another one with me. Then you might see me on Saturday, whole nother, situation. You might see me on Sunday, whole nother situation. And throughout the
I
week,
used to
you
bump
of
into
all
you a
people
lot.
used to always catch me. Like,
Yeah,
there's a few people that used to catch me, but you used to
yeah,
catch me all the
yeah,
time, man. Like,
yeah.
for real. So I was like, that was another reason why I wanted to get you on this record, because it was like, okay, let me get him on this. Because if there's anybody who can actually vouch for, like, nah, this nigga is really, like, he's really doing this right now. You know what I'm saying?
And
Even to the
since
times where, we didn't, manned up and got, in certain relationships and all that. I definitely say that, a lot of the same women, like us. We
yeah,
kind of got,
yeah, similar
we got
tastes.
a good flavor in females. I would definitely
Yeah,
say that.
yeah,
Um, but at the same time, that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to get you on that record. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? For real.
Great
Still got to
chemistry
shoot the
for real.
video for it.
But
Still got to shoot the
musically,
video for
bruh,
that.
I'm gonna tell you what made me fuck with you musically. Two things. When I first met you, you shout out to Paul the Connector. Shout out to Paul
Yeah,
the
shouts out to
Connector.
Paul.
I remember
Shouts out to
y'all did
Diddy.
an event together, and he invited me. I came, and usually when we go to these showcases, especially in the DMV, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of our artists in the DMV, I believe, sometimes follow the same method of other areas, their sound.
Mm-hmm.
But when I seen you, I think you had the white mink on or some shit, or the white fur.
I had a white, it was like I had African clothes on that night, but they was all white.
Yeah, it was some
Yeah.
fly shit. And I seen real hip hop. So I was like, hold up. Cause at that time I didn't think niggas was still rapping that
Mm-hmm.
real shit. So I was
Yeah.
like, I told Paul, I said, bro, I fuck with this nigga. Like just off of you had the crowd engaged.
Yeah.
So then when I
Yeah.
further tapped into your music, when I really knew officially that nah, he come from our cloth of just that real hip hop music. You made a
Mm-hmm.
song for your daughter.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
made a song for
Yeah.
your daughter, and in the song, I even heard the compassion that you had for your daughter's mom. Like you was
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
through, you was letting her know the shit we go through as adults. And when I heard it, I kept playing it. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
nah, this shit heartfelt.
Heartfelt. Yeah, it's
You know what I'm
heartfelt.
saying?
It's
This shit
heartfelt.
heartfelt. I don't
Yeah.
even know how. I think you was sending it out to certain musical circles
Yep.
just for us to get a listen
Yep.
to it through the
Yep.
email. And I
That
heard
was
it.
probably the biggest responses, one of the biggest responses that I've got. Maybe other than God Bless Black Madonna, I got some songs out there that really have gotten some real good feedback. I got another one called I Want to Go Outside. I'll tell you about that in a minute. And Bought a House with My Wrist. But that song is called Rain Harmony, which is my
Yeah.
daughter's name.
Yeah.
Her name is Rain Harmony. So at that time, when that was going on, she was only 3 years old. You know what I'm saying? So that was like my letter to her, even though that I knew she could not understand what was going on. But it was like, okay, no matter what you hear, no matter what you're going to hear, you know what I'm saying? Even if you don't be able to get to hear from me as a grown woman, God forbid, but you will have this, something that can't nobody take away from you coming from my mouth to your ears. And that's why I made sure I didn't say anything negative about her mom in the record. Uh, and I said what it is that I said. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta love a person from afar. Every time, a lot of times when you start with a person, you don't end up getting finished with them. I just think I never went through nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I went through so much stuff in the streets, so much stuff in the streets, but I never like went through that, as far as like dealing with, a real long-term relationship, family issues and all that. I never really had to go through that. I always seen brothers go through, and and it was like one of the moments where like you never know like what somebody really going through until you go through it yourself. That's what that song was really really much about. So I never could relate to the pain of a father like not seeing his child and all that type of stuff. I couldn't relate to that, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
once I went through it, it was like, you know what? And shouts out to my man Chi. Shouts out to Chi. Um, shouts out to Paul too. But Paul was really he was a lot in my corner around that time, like trying to push me to do certain things, you know. And I do remember him kept saying to me, he was like, "Man, you should make a song, you know, about like how you feel right now. You know, you should make a song about it." And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't. But one day she had said something to me or whatever. And he was like, "Yeah, man, you probably gonna make the best song that you can make right now if you record it." So that's what I had did. And once I had made that song or whatever, I ain't gonna lie, like when certain people heard it, it kind of made them like feel like a triumphant thing. It made some people like shed a tear, you know. But it was very relatable, you know,
Yeah,
like very relatable. And not only that, a lot of people not used to hearing no type of music like that come from me. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Yeah,
I got a question for you. Do you think
what's up?
your daughter's mother heard the song?
Of course you heard it. Yeah,
Okay. I
yeah, she
wonder how
heard it.
she took that.
Um, to
Cause
be honest,
heartfelt is heartfelt.
to be honest, I'm gonna tell you how I believe how she took it. You know, she definitely heard it before. I'm sure I know she heard like, you know, a lot of the recent stuff, but that song in particular, a lot of people was playing it around our neighborhood. You know, we're from the same neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people who gave me a lot of feedback was from a lot of people who knew both of us. You know, so she said something about the song, but her not really saying something is like really like her saying something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But she did say something about it though. She said something about it. But you know, it really wasn't for her though. It was for Shorty. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You know, for when she get older and be able to kind of go back and like, you know, she'll be able to hear the things that her father had to say. You know what I'm saying
yeah.
about the situation. You know, yeah, that's what that was really all about. It's pretty much a letter to her. You know,
That's that timeless music.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so y'all go check out Rain Harmony. It's all platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, all that. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, man. But like I was telling you, I definitely want to give some more flowers to some people who in our area, you know, like we did with Ray Banger. You know, let me see. We definitely got to shout out Bishop Twan, man.
Oh yeah. Rest in peace to the great. To
Yeah,
me, the greatest host in the DMV. Early.
ever,
You know what I'm saying?
ever,
Ever for real.
hands down, hands
Uh,
down, hands down.
a lot of my beginning events that we fully funded ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
our own showcases, two
Mm-hmm.
of them. I had a back in the day, I had a welcome home party, but it was like previewing my new music. I had just came home. Life was good. I was coming home to like I was able to come home and get right to it. Like I ain't have to
Mm-hmm.
build up. I came right home to the bag and got right to work. And he hosts that event. And we also, when me and Eski first linked up in our first event that me and Eski did together, we had a Game 7 and Wi-Fi album release party. Y'all go check that out. Game
Mm-hmm.
7 by Step, Wi-Fi by Eski. We had a joint album release party. Bishop Twan hosted that, had everybody in tune. That nigga was special, bruh.
He was. He definitely was special. He was definitely he was the glue. He was the
Yeah,
glue. He was the glue. Things
he
changed
plugged
when he
in.
when we lost him. When we lost him,
The DC
things
rap
changed.
scene was just done.
It was, and
As
I'm gonna
far
tell
as
you what.
showcases,
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you what. A lot of the ones who was a lot of us didn't like each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm
mm-hmm.
gonna just put it that way. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us didn't like each other. You had this guy who, you know, got along with this guy. This guy don't get along with this guy. Bishop was the glue for a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? So I might not like a guy, but Bishop is neutral with him. So I be neutral whenever I'm around. You know what I'm saying? And so will the guy. But when you don't have that person there, that is the reason why y'all neutral. You know what I'm saying? You know, there you have it. And not only that, um, the appreciation level. the appreciation level. What really bothered me after losing him is what bothered me is the fact that he used to do so many shows. And I used to do a lot of shows at this time. A lot of shows was going on around this time, far as me throwing shows, Bishop throwing shows, Bello, Eddie Kane, Dre All Day, Uncle Yankee, Bezell, even Tony Reds and them, Dre All Day. You know, the list goes on. You know, a lot of people was
Dang, rest
actually
in
doing a
peace
lot.
to Tony Reds too.
Rest in peace to Tony Reds. A lot of people was throwing shows around the time, but only a few of us, like, you know, everybody was kind of clicked up. Like this few mess with this few mess with this few. Like everybody wasn't on the same accord, you know. But while Bishop was living, a lot of us were doing certain things together, you know, because of Bishop, you know. So, you know, you had the jukebox. That was me and Bello's show, but Bishop was pretty much the face of jukebox. You know, he hosted every event. That went on for 2 years. So of course, it brought a lot of different people together. But then you had Bishop doing his own stuff. You had me doing my own stuff. You had Bello doing his own stuff. You had Eddie and them doing their own stuff. And then Tony Reds and them, and Dre All Day and them, they doing their own stuff. But once he passed away, you know what I'm saying? It was like he was like the glue to a lot of the guys who was actually really throwing events and shows and parties and stuff. And for me, what really did it for me is the fact that he was at a show. You know, he left a show and he ended up going home, and you know, like that's how he ended up passing away. Like the fact that he left a show, he pretty much died how he was living. You know what I'm saying?
That was a shock too. Like just
Yeah,
in your sleep, that
yeah,
was like
yeah.
a call, and God just called him.
Yeah, yeah. God just brought him home. You know what I'm saying? And
And
the
he had
fact
a
that
good service too. Like people
yeah, he
showed him a
did.
lot of love. I showed
He
up for the
did.
funeral because he was a part of a lot of
He
our
was. He was.
events and shit. And
Yeah,
he used to tell me, he was like, "Step, man, you got it, man. You see the people in here, you got the people. Woo, woo." I'm like, "Yeah, man, and I'm gonna fuck with you every time, bro.
yeah,
Every
yeah.
time."
I
That
definitely
was my
missed that
man.
guy.
Like he'll really get the
Um,
crowd moving. But what I respect about him, he a people's plug.
yeah, he is a
Like you
people's
said,
plug
he the
for sure.
glue.
Yeah, he glue.
And I
He was definitely
literally
the glue.
seen, I mean, me personally, I really didn't come up in the showcase circuit, but like all of us, I've been a part of some of them.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I met Bishop Twan, him and back in the day, him and Dre All Day in the Paint used to do the jumps together at the
Yeah,
expo. You remember the old expo?
yeah, yeah.
We used to be at the expo, and
The
I
Expo
think
ain't that on 9th? Wasn't that on 9th Street?
I couldn't even tell you
On
where it
U
was at,
Street or
bro.
something?
I just know it
Might have
was
been.
in the city somewhere where they used
Yeah,
to
I
host
remember
the
what you're
jumps
talking about
at.
though.
But it was funny because as soon as he passed away, like I literally seen that lane die. Like that lane,
But damn.
yeah, the
Yeah, it went
lane,
down.
people like him, Eddie Kane, and it made you
Yeah.
realize it's like, damn, these niggas really did put an effort in to give young artists a
Yep.
platform. And to
Yep.
be honest, a lot of our artists, we didn't really appreciate that. We hate too much. We don't
That's
know how to
that's
network because I used to hate
that's
to
why
see
I don't
this.
exist.
I
That's
used
why I
to
don't
hate.
exist the way that they used to.
I used to hate to see at those showcases this group will perform, and after they perform, they gone.
Yeah.
And you taking
Yeah.
all your people with you. It's like, no, bro, stay, get to see the other talent so we all could share each other's fan base.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. A whole moment, a whole show. Not
yeah,
your performance, a whole show. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
But
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
plight of our area for real, for real. But
Yeah. That's why I had really rocked with that show that me and Paul had did. That Coming to America show. It was Sting. You know, it wasn't at like no little small club, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people was there. We had decorations and shit there. We had some bomb
catering,
ass food there.
y'all
We
had the
had
catering.
now we ain't had catering, like I made majority of that food.
Oh,
Like
you
I
made
made
the food.
majority of that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Paul and some of his people had made some of it too. Like so whatever I didn't make, they made, you know,
Oh,
we
okay.
just came together as a collective,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And that was why it really went the way that it did, because whatever I didn't do, Paul did. Whatever Paul didn't do, I did. But Paul knew different artists such as you know what I'm saying? A number of artists that actually came there. And when you seen this whole different environment, it set a different tone with the people who was interacting with each other. And not only that, this is another thing that I really loved about that event. Everybody had bottles. You know what I'm saying? Every table had a bottle. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was a little more classy than a regular showcase. You know what I'm saying? So people weren't really ready to just leave after they show and nothing like that. We got a whole bottle. Some people had 2 or 3. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was a different atmosphere, but I did see the decline in that after my man had passed away, because I ain't gonna lie, I lost my passion for it. I was losing my passion for it before he passed away. Eddie Kane had said something to me about it. Shouts out to Eddie Kane. But he was telling me, like, at the height of my shit, like at the height, I was getting like, man, I mean, I couldn't miss at one time, man. I was getting like 400, 500 people to come out. Like, it was nothing, like for real, and I wasn't doing it by myself, shouts out to the Bello, whatever. But our collective, me and him and Bishop, we used to bring that many people out like twice a month. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, but mainly like once a month. That was a real hot thing, like the really break. And then you had Tony Reyes, rest in peace to him. They was bringing artists down here. They had they whole up thing going on. Then you had Uncle Yankee and them doing their thing at what was that, Howard Theater and Fillmore and all that. You remember they was doing a lot of that at that time. So yeah,
and one thing you said, niggas don't like it, because I remember Eddie Kane, and I ain't like this for him because he had a big showcase. He had it at the Howard Theater.
Yeah, at Howard, yeah.
And
I remember that.
And and it was funny because people know, sometimes I don't know how it is now, but at one point, the Howard Theater security used to just be faking so hard.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
So it was one of them nights they was just faking, but me, I'm just witnessing it. Like, we here, we the consumer. Why y'all being extra aggressive? And you know how they used to be. So one of the artists, I think they had a group from Simple City. I don't even know the group, but they was like in their
I know
30s
exactly
deep.
who you talking about. We ain't gonna say their name though. Like, yeah, I know
They
exactly.
beat
They're a
they
bunch of little
beat
street niggas.
they beat the shit out of the Howard Theater
Yeah.
security. But
Yeah.
even though the security was faking that night, I ain't like to see it because it was a hell of a melee, and it fucked up Eddie Kane's relationship with Howard Theater.
Not just that, it messed up because I ain't gonna lie, I do remember this. That brought a lot of us together. We actually had a little meeting after that and all that, whatever case may be. Because that
was
like the beginning. That was like the beginning of. So you got to understand, like, he had that. So if everything would have went great with that, we would have been elevating them type of events, them type of shows. Like, he took a hell of a loss when he did that. That's why you see him doing something totally different now. The Alley, shouts out to Alley Hoop, Alley Hoop TV. I think he got an app now. He's doing TV and all that, whatever. But when he actually went through that, it brought a lot of us together. And not only that, Bishop was still living in too. But them same guys who had, was responsible for that, man, they came to a lot of my events, man, never had no issues out of these guys. These guys was the most respectful to me, the most respectful to my event, most, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Like, so I don't know what happened. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know what happened. I do know, like, this, at the end of the day, like, where we come from, man. So you can't just be talking to anybody like how you want to talk to them. You know what I'm saying?
I think that was the last day. I ain't really know him as an artist. I knew his name, but I know I was
it was
in there.
a group of them. It was a group of them. It was a whole crew of
with
them.
Me from Goon Squad. Preach was with me. Slim Tristan was in there that night. Rest in peace
to Slim Tristan. You know what? Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Nah, I was just saying it was a couple of
you
people.
You got a Slim Tristan story?
Nah, I never really knew him personally.
He from 10th Street, Southeast. Heard a lot about this guy. I got to meet him a few times, but I never really got to work with him. It came close. It came close. Me and him had swapped numbers at one time because we used to comment a lot on each other posts and like share each other posts a lot. But he was one of them Jews too. You know what I'm saying? He was one of them Jews as well. He had what I really liked about him was was he had this Southeast aura about him. You know what I'm saying? He had like this real Southeast aura about him. And like, you know how it is in the city, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he from so and so, like nigga don't like you from a beef he had with your neighborhood when he was in elementary or when he was in high school or, whatever case may be. But a lot of niggas grow out of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm glad that I grew out a lot of that shit because I really got to really see and really experience, a lot of different, personalities and a lot of different great people around the city, you know what I'm saying, by me being open-minded, you know what I'm saying? And he was one of them. Like, I used to always hear people talk about him. Bishop used to talk about him a lot, you know what I'm saying? But he really was one of them jams. He kind of reminded me of like his music didn't sound like this, but he kind of reminded me of like a P&B Rock a little bit.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean when you say that.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. The look.
Yeah, I remember one day, this would really like made me pay attention to him one day. He of course he had his kids with him and all that, but he had this jacket on, right? He had a jacket on, and it was this white jacket. It was a white Nautica jacket. You know what I'm saying? Now it looked like a jacket that you might have seen like in maybe like 95 or 96 or something like that. So it really stood. I'm like myself, like, how the fuck he get that? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it just always caught my attention. I paid attention to him, man. So yeah, when we lost him, you know what I'm saying, it was definitely untimely and hurt for the city. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I want to give a good shout out to Slim Tristan. That was definitely another gem in the city. It's crazy you said his name, man, for real, because he was an authentic guy.
It's funny because even in this conversation, we mentioning a lot of people that's monumental to the DMV hip hop scene that passed away.
Yeah.
I'm saying a lot of people that passed away in this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like Tony Reyes was bubbling, doing what he was doing, and he unfortunately passed away. But I like him because he had that gig at the radio and was sharing his platform with the local artists.
Yeah. And he actually, it took them a while for them to start doing that, but once he started doing it, he started doing it. You know what I'm
saying? And since we on the topic of just DMV pioneers, man, one of my favorite pioneers from our city that I still got a relationship with him to this day, bro. Like, to me, he one of the OG, realest, compassionate person. DJ Cool, bro. Nah, DJ Cool.
Yeah, DJ Cool. DJ Cool,
I never forget.
He's a real good guy.
I was young.
He's a good guy.
Selling the music, right?
Yeah.
Now, I remember DJ Cool from his voice, but when I was young, I didn't know no face. So I remember this back in the day. I was in a group called Goon Squad. We used to sell the CDs. We used to be at Circuit City selling that shit right out the trunk. He come up, and at first he was like, y'all don't know who I am? Y'all should just be giving me the CD. The nigga respected me because I told him this. I told him this. I said, no disrespect, but you don't know what the music sound like. I said, the music could be Old McDonald had a farm and you hear it and throw it away. So I'm going to be without a CD and my money. I said, we sell these joints for $5.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, what's your name? He was like, take my number down right now. I like you. And guess what? I'm going to buy 5
of them. He a good guy.
Ever since that, I still could call him to this day. And I try not to call him too much, but I could call him to this day. I remember one time I seen him in Upper Marlboro. We was at some type of event. He was there. We out in the car. He was like, man, come, I want to talk to you. He was telling me about shit he got going on with Redman. Just the fact that he's approachable. You know I done met a lot of these people. I done met the great God bless the dead. I done met Chuck Brown. Not the same energy like DJ Cool. Yeah. Rest in peace to him. No disrespect. I'm just talking about what I've seen. I done met Genuine, and some of these people act like they don't really care about their people. They might go in the public and act like they care, but in real life, they really act like you a nuisance. You know what I'm saying?
Man, so if I tell you some of the people who surprised me that was like real genuine when I met them, like celebrities, you would be really shocked, man. For real. You'd be
Oh,
really shocked, man.
and one of the Braxtons, I don't know which one, is one of the ones that was out here. I remember she bought the CD. I'll never forget. It's probably, of course, it's not Tony. It ain't Tamar. It's the one that looked like Tony, but she kind of real quiet and mellow. I want to believe. I think it might be the one that they said passed away.
You talking about her sister? Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
credit union back in the day that used to be in
She used to
Clinton.
stay. She used to stay in Maryland.
Yeah, I met her
Yeah.
at the credit union. Same shit. We
Yeah.
selling CDs. She bought a couple of them, and she was like, "Don't worry, I'm in the business. I'm one of the Braxtons." You know what I'm saying? And I didn't care about her doing nothing for me because it was just the fact that she went in her own pocket and supported.
And got it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So DJ Cool, and I'm gonna find out the particular Braxton that it was. I believe it
I
probably
believe I
was
know
the
who
one
you
that
talking
passed
about.
away.
Yeah. You talking about she kind of heavy? She was kind of heavy set?
Nah, it wasn't a heavy set one.
Okay.
It's the one she looked damn near just like Tony for real. But she
Gotcha.
was
You ain't talking about
more plain
okay.
Jane, like, not really thirsting that fame. Seen her at the
Yeah.
credit union. Real sweet.
I'm gonna tell you who like really besides Bishop Twan, 'cause Bishop Twan really definitely helped me out as far as getting a name for myself in the DMV. But I'm gonna tell you who really helped me out early in my career, like as far as like me trying to rap and get heard at radio. I want to make sure I say her name right because we giving people flowers right now. Do you remember XM Radio when it was real big in DC, like, and they used to have like these radio shows and stuff? It was like off New York Avenue.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it was a lady up there. I want to say her name was Miss Kitty. You ever heard of Miss Kitty?
Nah, I never heard of Miss Kitty. Miss
Okay,
Kitty.
well, Miss Kitty, man, I'm talking about, man, she used to go so hard on the radio Raw XM, Raw 66, satellite radio. Um, I had just came out with one of my albums. It's called The Be Untouchable, which is actually out on it's not on all platforms, it's on that Piff. That's how long ago this is. This is when we was just, everybody was on that Piff and live mixtapes and all that type of stuff. So I had put out a project on it. Me and my man, shouts out to my man Fresh. Fresh was from around Congress Park. Shouts out to all my guys from around Congress Park. But me and Fresh formed a group. I'm from Fairfax 41st side, you know what I'm saying? Congress Park is just like two totally different worlds, you know what I'm saying? This is like Harlem and like the Magnolia projects kind of coming together, you know what I'm saying? Two totally different vibes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we had a lot of people into that. So I took the CD up, Miss Kitty, I had called her, and I was like, "Yeah, man, I had put a CD up there. Took a CD up there at least like about 4 or 5 times. Still ain't never hear my shit on the radio. So I called one day and she answered, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, "Hey, what's up?" So I was like, "Man, I put my CD up there like 4 or 5 times. I was like, "Did you get it?" And she was like, "Nah, I ain't get it." She was like, "They be doing that shit down there. They say that that they gonna leave it out here for me, but I don't end up getting it." So she had ended up telling me, she was like, "Look, come up here right now." This is exactly what she said to me, so I would never forget it. You know what I'm saying? She was like, "Come up here right now." She said, "If you could come up here right now, I make sure I play your CD." I was like, "Bet, I'm on my way." This is exactly what she said. She said, "See you in a minute, nigga." Hung the phone up, right? Got off the phone, drove straight up there to the to XM radio, right there off New York Avenue. So I went up there, waiting in the lobby for her to get there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for her to come down because she was on air. She came down, got the CD. I'm thinking like, my shit gonna get played, like immediately, whatever case may be. Of course, she had to like listen to it, whatever. Man, I lie to you not, man. She ended up playing my whole CD on air. The whole thing. I had like 13 tracks on it. She ended up playing the whole thing. And when she did that, a lot of people was listening to Raw 66 XM radio a lot more at that time, because at this time, it wasn't no social media. You know what I'm saying? It might have been MySpace. You know,
Yeah,
maybe,
that bullshit.
maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It might have, maybe. Like it might have been MySpace. Yeah, it
I
was not
wonder
a
what
MySpace.
people like Miss Kitty doing now and shit.
That's why I'm saying something
Because I'm
about her.
pretty
I don't
sure
know.
this game, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I
We
don't
got
know. I'm gonna have to
stamina,
like.
but
I'm gonna have to try to look her up.
this game make people get out of
Yeah, yeah.
it.
It's the
And this
devil's
game
playground.
got a lot of heartache and pain. And
It's the devil's playground. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have some tough skin in here, man. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, you do a lot of stuff for a lot of people who, you know, who you just don't think that appreciate it. Just like how right now, we don't know what Miss Kitty doing right now. You know what I'm saying? She probably don't even remember me, but
yeah.
I ain't forgot that. You know what I'm saying? You know, so for me to end up being on radio, radio, having a show on air and all that, you know what I'm saying? You know what that meant to me? That
Yeah.
made me really want to look out for, you know what I'm saying? Like for people and for artists and
She
you know what I'm
spelled
saying? And
Kitty
like,
with a K.
yeah, Kitty, Miss Kitty. Yeah, Kitty, I believe. But she was a radio host at Raw 66 XM. I'm gonna definitely try to reach out to her. But you know, another person I got to shout out to is Tony Blunt, man. Tony Blunt, he he set the standards for a lot of like rappers, like for it to be cool to rap. You know what I'm saying? Um, but when I first met him, I ain't gonna lie, man, I was like starstruck when I
Is
met
that
this
her?
nigga. I believe that is her. I have to hear her voice. I know her voice more than I know her face.
You will never be right for the wrong person. If somebody make up their mind to eat Korean boy things, no matter what you do.
Nah, that ain't her.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that was some Jamaican shit.
Tony Blunt, DC Scorpio, um, what's his name, man? Stinky Dink, and so many more. You know, Nonchalant and all them. Oh, can't forget this guy.
Nonchalant bought our CD too, bro. She another person.
Yeah,
Our Wardo bought the CD.
Another person. I can't forget neither because he embraced me like no other. Black Indian.
Hey, look, people don't give Black Indian. He was out here doing this rap shit before it was cool to do this rap shit in DC.
When it was not
all
cool.
go.
Nah,
Black Indian was already out here with the music and stores and shit.
If I ain't mistaken, he was signed before Nonchalant. He had the first record deal. Like one of the first record deals. I
wonder
like
what Black Indian out here doing. I remember Black Indian.
I was just with him in Houston. It wasn't this year. I was with him last year in Houston. He out there in Houston. He back and forth, you know, in the city too. But you know, he's still making great music. You know, he's still making good music. He out there in Houston living good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, me and him had went out to a real nice spot he had took me to out there in H-Town. It was my first time in H-Town too. And what was so crazy about it, you know how much I've been traveling, you know, but it was my first time in Houston and I was there for like a week. And he had ended up hitting me up and he was just like, yeah, man, I'm gonna come holler at you. This is that and the third. I'm thinking he in DC. Whole time he in Houston. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He sent me an address. I never forget this. He sent me an address to the spot. Now I'm in Houston. You know what I'm saying? He sent me an address to a spot that was an hour and 8 minutes away from where it is where I was at. No traffic. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. No traffic whatsoever. I'm like, yeah, Houston is big as I don't know what, man.
Yeah, I love Texas.
Yeah,
I love Houston and Dallas.
Everything big in Texas. Speaking of cities, man, give me some of your favorite cities, like your top 5. And you can't say DC or Maryland or nothing like that from where we from. You gotta exclude them.
I ain't been everywhere, but where I've been, I love Texas for real. Like I only been to Houston and Dallas, but I love it. The food, the space, like you said, it's big. The space, you could be on the highway but not feel like you in traffic, like how we is in the DMV. The food is beautiful. The women is thick and gorgeous. I love Texas. I love Houston and Dallas.
Okay, we'll say them as a whole.
Yeah. I love Negril, Jamaica.
Negril, okay.
I love Negril, Jamaica. Just the hustle, like the hustle I seen and the Jakes, man, like
Mm-hmm.
they know how to get money together. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the hustlers here need to learn from how they do what they do. But some other places I like as far as what we do.
Especially as far as like in the US though. Like
Yeah,
cities
in the
that's
US, I like what part of Florida? I go to Miami, but I ain't really everybody be on Miami. I like Jacksonville, Florida, to be honest.
Jacksonville, I just left there.
Yeah, I
Jacksonville
like
is pretty dope.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
Um,
Jacksonville is all right.
with some other little low key places. Of course, LA. I ain't been to
LA.
the whole California, but I've been to LA. I love LA.
I went for my first time this year.
Yeah, I've been to LA. I love LA
Yeah.
because it's just big and spacious too. I remember I was out there.
And the 3 W's, man. The
I
women,
was
the
out
weed, and the
there
weather.
last year for 2021 Lola birthday, which is me and her. We was out there. I said, "Fuck it, man. Cut your DoorDash on. Let's go DoorDash in Beverly Hills." So we DoorDash in Beverly Hills, just looking at the different mansions.
Man.
That shit was like that.
It's like a movie. It's like a movie. It's like what you see on TV. Straight up.
But to be honest, I got more places to visit though, bro. Like I gotta revisit that.
For me, I'm gonna tell you what did it for me. Then this is just, I've been to a lot of different cities in the US, but it's certain cities that just really just stand out to me. I mean, of course, like Vegas is a gift. You know what I'm saying? Vegas is just, just what it is. You say LA,
Vegas.
right?
I love Vegas.
I ain't gonna say LA. I'm gonna say Memphis. I went to Memphis. Man, I really like Memphis. You think the food in Texas is good, which it really, really is. I don't know if you've been to Memphis, man. I had some barbecue from Memphis. Whew. Like, man, oh man, like they got like so many different bases of barbecue. They got like the mustard based barbecue. They got the vinegar based barbecue. I mean, and not only that, the blues was created there. So it's a place there called Beale Street. Nothing like it, man. I really like Houston, man. You know what I'm saying? And out of there, if you're really from the streets, you'll love Memphis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
New Orleans. I went to New Orleans.
Another place with good food.
Man, great food. And not only that, like a lot of people, like, oh man, New Orleans like this, New Orleans like this, man. When I tell you, New Orleans love people from where we from. I'm talking about as soon as we start opening our mouth, it's like how we can understand, like, man, when they start, where them hoes, like, you already know, like, they got to be from New Orleans. When they start hearing, hey, what's up, Slim? Like, as soon as they start hearing us talk, they
a lot of places feel that way about our area.
Yeah, so I would definitely say New Orleans. Charlotte, man. Charlotte. I love Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? Charlotte, Charlotte, a melting pot right now. It's like one of the fifth growingest cities in America. It's a lot of different great things Charlotte got going for itself. It's not how it used to be at all. It's Charlotte is up there. Charlotte's a pretty good city. And I'm gonna say something that most people probably ain't gonna think I'm gonna say. You know what I'm saying? And this is just like a little city that I've been to, that is just a beautiful little city, you know what I'm saying? That I really wasn't expecting for it to be. And that was Savannah, Georgia. You ever been to Savannah?
Yeah, I've been to Savannah. I probably was just in and out.
Yeah, Savannah, or even Charleston, South Carolina. If you like, want to catch
I've been out Charleston.
Yeah,
shout out to Ginger. Whenever we come to Charleston, she let us stay out there. Like whenever we got business in Charleston, she give us the moonshine and all that shit. Shout out to Miss Ginger.
Speaking of that, we might need to shoot Saturday Night Live out Charleston or something like that. You know what I'm saying? That vibe out there like that. Huh?
I said, and Charlotte.
I mean, yeah, for sure. You know what? I want to ask you this before we wrap this up, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just speaking about this. I did come up with a book this year. Salute to everybody who was involved. Broken Crayon, Still Color, Volume 2. It did really good on Amazon. And I wrote it about a great friend of mine. And I know that you will be able to relate to this because you had this story before. I could kind of, like I said, you never know like how a person is dealing with something until you kind of in the same realm as it. You know what I'm saying? Or you actually going through it yourself. So I always hear about you talk about the beautiful Mama Red, rest in peace to her, but you always speak so heavy about her, so so heartfelt about her. You always, like you always keep her name alive. You know what I'm saying?
Got to.
And to be honest, for me to see a guy come from the streets, you know what I'm saying, like we do, and to, like for you to like not just move on and not like keep her name alive, no matter what situation it is that you have been in or do or where you take her with you. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that always stuck out to me about you. You know what I'm saying? That you actually really did that.